What's up, all? Eric here. I'm going to give you a nice little update today. I don't want to make it too long, but I know I haven't put anything out in a bit. And I really also am very cognizant of the fact that I have just recently, with this pullback again, the call was made late July that the bottom was in crypto. Reiterated that to everybody a little bit after that in early August when I was certain in my intuition, and that's been very profitable for any of us that have taken action then. But then we stalled out in the low 50s on Bitcoin, had this nice little correction, which is so normal, guys. Are you questioning yourself? Are you questioning crypto? Don't ever do that ever again, because we're about to see fireworks like we have not seen yet. This is my outlook and conviction, but I probably will talk in somewhat of certainties, like, because my confidence is very high. And this doesn't mean that I guarantee that I'm right, or that, I don't have an open mind to pivot or to essentially change my mind. But those would have to be situations where either there's a fundamental reason why crypto just doesn't do it anymore, and I don't see that, including the governments and regulation and everything else. It doesn't matter. We've already seen them come up, and this issue's come up. We've seen China ban the miners, fifth time, by the way. Bitcoin goes up. Infrastructure bill, tax crypto goes up. Jerome Powell just came out last week at the Fed meeting and said we have no intention to ban cryptocurrencies. And even if they did, they're too late. What are they going to do? There's no enforcement ability. I talked about this in my Furious video when I dug into all the potential profits that many of you, we were basically screwed by our regulators and politicians threatening Binance, who said, you US people are out of here. And that was back in late 18, it was announced. And, that's kept a lot of us from a lot of profits. But what are they going to do? I mean, first of all, the fact is that when you have things off of an exchange, which I'll talk about either today, I'll get into that, or I'll touch on it, but I'll get into it more this week. We're going to do a Q&A. Probably a good 2-hour one that we'll do. I'm in Miami doing a bunch of work today through Tuesday, flying back home to Wisconsin, and then I will announce it probably tomorrow sometime for Thursday, is what it looks like. Probably right after the market. So maybe pencil that in, and I'll confirm it soon. And yeah, there's a lot to go through, but the direct message here is, this bull market in crypto, I've said it even as recent as when Bitcoin was in the low 30s. And I came out and I said, my projection stands that the one thing I was wrong about is I said we could even see new highs, meaning over 65,000 or whatever by the end of September. It wouldn't surprise me. We haven't seen that. But, it made a run there and it got stalled out, probably for really good reason for some of you that just don't understand what's going on yet. And 150,000, 125 to 150 is what I've said by the second week of January. And I'm thinking it might be conservative. And right now we're at 47, 48. So think about that. And do you think it's impossible to do? Look at what crypto does. Every time everybody doubts it, it'll rip your face off, okay? I have so many different things that I look at, and I am very, 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 very bullish. But the problem is people don't act on it. You don't know it like me. You don't have the confidence and conviction like I do. What you're paying me for, and by the way, I just wanted to bring it up, lest people get a bit disappointed about, the pace or the kind of the randomness of when I write or put out the videos. I should be a bit more active, but do recall, please, you bought a special report. I turned this into an ongoing newsletter for a year from when those were purchased. kind of as just like a gesture to help, because I realized that so many people didn't even know what to do. So I really wanted to help, and I want to help. And I am, at the pace that I'm able. But, just keep that in mind, because, I think I put in a good amount of time for this and with you guys, and actually, also, not that I wouldn't like to do more. I mean, the fact of the matter is that those of you that have taken taking the action to buy either some of the tiers, the tier ones, if this gets to you, I don't know if I'm going to send it to the master list or not. That was really a very light list and a low cost situation that I do include you sometimes, but not with sometimes with the picks, but with the timing. Emails alone. If anybody has followed my calls on things like this right now, where I'm saying we're about to go, you don't have any time. If you don't have any time, you're gonna get left behind again. And that's where a lot of you, I'm just gonna send this to crypto tiers 2 and 3 actually, because you're the ones that paid extra. And the fact is that I think the amount of folks that are actually utilizing some of this info, and what I really wanted to get this out there as, is a way for you all to expedite the process a bit by taking my lead, not being stupid or reckless. But I think a lot of you are stupid and reckless with what you do with your money in terms of the things like this. Here's what I don't get. And listen, I was the same way up until about, 18 months ago or 2 years ago, 24 months ago, I started making changes. But I had, 65, 70% of my net worth in gold, silver, and mining stocks. And the very minority of that was actually in physical. When I say physical, I just mean the price of gold attachment. It doesn't have to be an actual coin or bar or whatever, but it was a modest amount of that. It was in a lot of my net worth was in these junior miners. And, so like most of you come from the gold investment ladder, and you're comfortable buying, some of you are comfortable putting in 15, 30, 50, 100 grand into a junior, but you have 12, 15, 18 in Bitcoin and all of crypto. It's dumb. It's really stupid, because it's just the fact that you're talking about what's happened in the last, 24 months, break it down to 12, whatever. What is one in the performance category? Crypto smokes everything, everybody. I mean, I've made so much money by pivoting over here, 18 months back, really just over a year ago, big time. And I did that when I've still been involved with the juniors. I just pivoted in the sense that I started moving money quicker into this side of things. But if you own one stock, any one stock you have, look at the amount that you have in that stock. If this is not a Berkshire Hathaway or something, then you should put twice that into crypto. And I think that the other thing is that I see a lot, everybody wants the next altcoin, the small cap. And I get that even in person when people are talking, well, what else do you like on the altcoins? And they don't own any, or you don't own any Bitcoin or Ethereum. And my thought is this is the same for you guys. It's for anybody. If you don't own Bitcoin and Ethereum in any sort of meaningful amount, or even at all, don't ask me for anything else, because you're missing the boat. Because those two, you don't have to worry about them. Bitcoin, you sock away. What do you think every single big institution and money manager does when they come into crypto? They look at Bitcoin and they go into Bitcoin. And Bitcoin's returns from here, if we go to 150,000, it's a triple. Some altcoins will destroy it, and some will actually underperform. I'm talking about the penny ones. It also amazes me that a good amount of people, I'm actually very shocked and saddened by this, but the connection with a low priced token having more upside without looking at the tokens outstanding and the market cap. I don't know, but that's stuff I expect out of people that have never bought a stock before, sure. But I mean, come on, guys, you got to look at the overall value. If you're sitting in XRP waiting for a miracle, which a lot of people are, hey, I hope it works out for you. That's not going to be on my list because, and it hasn't been, because you're talking about with XRP, the number seven deal in the world in terms of market cap is at $51 billion right now, and then fully diluted, it's 108 billion. If somebody wants to give me a breakdown of how and why Ripple is worth over $50 billion, give me a call, because I don't see it. You can't just take your fundamental analysis and principles and throw them out the door and expect to do great because of what? Did you really look at what they're doing or even know like what their growth metric is? We can look at networks on these blockchains and get the data and the reports and at least see what's booming with growth and users. XRP, I mean, the last I looked, it was probably about 6 months ago. I said, good luck. I mean, they're going after a big move towards the banks, but they're a business. They're a centralized business themselves. And forget it. For me, I mean, like there's so much better stuff out there. But this is just one example. People think it's low price and it's going to go up more. Not necessarily when you're the seventh biggest market capitalization token on the planet. It takes a lot of money to move that stuff. The days of the big XRP move is probably behind us, even though it could triple. I bet Bitcoin outperforms it on the next move. We'll see. They're not necessarily, a lot of people just go into this stuff again, like they're low price, but they end up getting hammered harder on the downside because people don't know what they bought. In any event, now it's very discouraging when I've talked to people about IDEX as the weeks had gone by after, taking some profits. Took a bit off at 62 cents, end of message. I did that with an email alert. Took a bit off in the 80s and 90s, but I didn't put an email alert out. I mean, because I do have an alert where when I went out on, let's see, I did look up, some of these emails and the picks along the way. And, I had reiterated a buy on IDEX earlier in the summer. Might have even been in May, but I said under 5 cents, the thing, load up. And we had some time on that. And so the thing we want, guys and gals, if you're limited on funds, you want time to buy the favorite ones. It's good that they go down. I mean, you have to have your mind on correctly instead of the way we get into trouble is by looking for a miracle in one particular junior or shitcoin and rolling the dice and thinking that's going to save everything and we're going to get out and be rich or pay off our debt. Anything in your mind with that? I'm just telling you, I've wasted years and much hope with that thought. And the only time they ever did do that for me was when I let go of that mindset. And I became patient unless I outlined a certain metric or framework on a trade and I stuck with it and took a loss, no big deal. But I put this out, what was this on? June 26th, Saturday night. And I talked about, because Internet Computer was down that week and I had put that out. I don't know what the price was on the initial recommendation. It was probably around I don't know, maybe it was in the 50s or high 40s, but here's what I wrote. The cheaper ICP is traded down this week, the larger cash amount I put into it, meaning at 50, if I bought 10K, then at 40, it would be 15K. And now at 30, 20K, et cetera. Guess what happened? I'm up enormously on ICP because all of those two things I stuck with. And I did it with a little bit more money, but I did it in the same framework. And then I was able to sell off a tad, a half of what was added at a double. I have no more risk in ICP. So I mentioned that on that one. And then we were looking at Kusama 175. I mean, the problem I think that, I don't fault a lot of you on is that when I mention something, I've not been able to get into a ton of diligence because of what's all the stuff going on and writing a report, but I do talk about some, especially in the videos, it's easier to do so. And then I'm just looking at, because Kusama's been a monster. and right now is trading at, from that email, 353. So it's doubled, but it was lower than that when I mentioned it prior. And so, like, look, Kusama, wonderful, and that one is one. What I've got left, I'm not selling. I think I bought Kusama initially. Probably initially around under 100. But anyway, you know what's been huge, and this is where it's been frustrating when I talk about IDEX. I mean, there's been very few people that made any big money. I mean, yeah, I made a little money on that. What do you mean you made a little money? Like, I don't know. I don't understand. I mean, it came out, I think, in April, reiterated again under 5, and it didn't go up right away. So people either sold it or they got flushed out in the May pullback or just never acted on it. And a lot of those folks are people that have been asking me for the next bake. That was the next bake. I literally wrote that. Everybody asks, but it's hard to identify another bake. I don't know that I'll have one, but in this crypto world, some are getting close already, but those are ones that I chopped away, 3 years ago. Excuse me, like that Axie Infinity, which is incredible. Quant, unbelievable. So many of them. But what I try to do my best for with you guys is, give you the stuff that I'm buying that stands out to me and share those. But it's like I don't want to give too many because people get distracted. I've increased the amount of recommendations and stuff like this, kind of against my best judgment, because people might throw out, IDEX at that time for something that is going up that I mentioned, or, it's a new one versus the IDEX. You got to be patient, guys and gals. And then, look at Avalanche. I mean, I even put something out back in July where, this one was like adding Avalanche slowly on this pullback, but revved up my size above 1260. I was buying into the 11s. I mentioned it, I think, in the 11s as a new pick. I didn't look through all these emails that were sent out, and I think it is washed out, 50 plus to under 10, but a very compelling open source platform, And then I think I mentioned in the initial one to buy up to like 14 or 15 because I had recommended it around 1150. That thing's over $70 right now. And that was recommended, this is a July 6th. So July, August, September, October, 3 months. Unbelievable. Up like 6x. It's one of the biggest tokens now in the world. And this has happened with some of the ones that I've been involved in, that all of a sudden they go from nothing to jumping into the top, 100 or 50. And Avalanche is number 3. Wow. Or, I'm sorry, number 13. Crazy. Anyway, so everything from, and I looked at I think I made a comment, I've never been wrong, but it actually is true if you look at the ones that are down from my picks, like Anchor. Anchor's down from where I recommended it as a trade. I also mentioned you could put a stop in. So I guess I've been wrong because I stopped at a sum at whatever that price was, but I've held it, and I actually bought some more when it was down, like recently at 6 or 7 or something. But so that would be. But the fact is, if you bought it as an investor and you're holding it, we're going to make money from that price. It's just a matter of how much time it takes. All of a sudden, these things explode out of nowhere. And that's why you got to be a little bit patient with them, because I don't put a time frame on it. I don't say this thing's going to go in 30 days guaranteed or sell it or anything. So, I mean, that one is there. And then there was one other one that I think is off. I mean, ICP went down. See, ICP went down from after the recommendation. But then if you followed that model or anywhere close, even with whatever you could do, it's not. But then there's the IDEX situation is amazing, because I don't know. There are people, this is what I'm going to suggest right now to you. And I'm going to wrap this up. Actually, I'm going to give you 2 new tokens. One that I might have mentioned already, one that's new. Cartesi is doubled. AVAX is up huge. Kusama is up a double. Thorchain is up quite a bit. It went up 4x. Now it's up 2x. or 3x. Yeah, so like Crow, the Crow token, 11.5 to 18.5. What is that? 60%. All right, so I'm just going to say this one more time in the sense that, you guys, here's what I would tell you is that you've now got a track record. And this goes back to the gold investment letter from those of you that have been around to like 2018, where I think it was 18. It was the end of 18, early 19 that I started to come out and talk a lot more about Bitcoin and the lows and buying Bitcoin for your kids at 5,000-6,000, even if you don't understand it. And you've got a track record with what I've been saying, even if you're just on the free list there, but especially if you've been on the others. You've seen my calls in the space, and it's like, it's overwhelming how many things we've made money on. I mean, yes, okay, like might be some that are down a couple, but like Bitcoin and Ethereum and the timing and stuff, I don't believe I've been wrong. If you look at it from a standpoint of, I've gotten very close on a lot of these calls about when it was going to break through. That $10,000 mark was gone. I think I came out aggressively with that. Maybe it was August or September, and that 20 was going to go, and you had to be ready. That happened very quickly. This stuff, and then the pullbacks. I've been able to really nail very closely, in these knife catching situations, very close to the bottoms and very different than the consensus. And then when you look at a lot of the individual tokens, it's insane. If you even caught a little bit of the bake bought it under 10 cents, it went to $8 in like 4 months. And the IDEX, 4 or 5 cents, 6 cents to, what was it, $1 at the top. And it happened so fast. All these other ones, there's just so many of them. So what I'm getting at is like step one, because the reason I'm saying this now is like every stage, there's like stages of price in the cycle. And these days right now where Bitcoin is messing around in these, 30 to 55, really under those highs around 65, those days are numbered. They're going to go, and they're going to go so furiously. And one of the things that is also coming, I believe, that people have forgot about is an ETF approval. And that will take it up close to my price target in 2 weeks. I don't know. What do you think? All of a sudden, people don't have to learn how to open an account and, open an account to buy Bitcoin, and they can do it in their stock account. How many people are like that out there? Many, and so forget about it. There's a US ETF approved by, there's a lot of big name firms that have been lobbying for it, and trustworthy names in the space, big names in the space, and you're going to see Bitcoin just explode. But I have a reminder, and that is that we need to buy these things before those type of catalysts happen. Otherwise, we're just behind the curve like everybody else, guys. I'm trying my best to relay my conviction at times when I think it's time to act, okay? I'm not coming out with like updates on this or that when there's nothing to update or, I reminders, yeah. But, I'm making moves and have made moves intermittently in the points where there's going to be a move, there's going to be a shift. There's time where it's justified to say, if you don't own any or much Bitcoin or Ethereum at the least, you better go get your stuff together, because you're going to regret it. You're going to regret it, and you're going to regret it soon. And you're going to be like everybody else, which is also what confirms my conviction that I talked to. I missed it. I missed it. Great. Keep saying that, because now I know without a shadow of a doubt with my work that with that type of consensus, guess what? The masses are all wrong. And they're the contrarian in me, and I'm not necessarily always a contrarian. I'll buy long if it's up. I'll definitely pay up for things, and all good. But it's got to be with that consensus. When I start to hear what normal people that aren't investing for a living, or people that are coming into stuff at the tops, and those things are puking out at the bottoms. I just sold. I listen to that and I gather, and I get a lot of that consensus. It's a huge weapon for me. And Bitcoin and Ethereum are about to explode. I think that they'll triple from right here within the next 90 to 120 days. Historically, November and December are the most powerful moves for crypto. It is coming. The clock is ticking. Make your decisions on what you want to do. If you're tidy and cool with what you've got, cool. I got rich already, very rich, and I'm going to do more because I have purposes. I have purposes for those funds, and it doesn't have to do, with fancy cars or homes or anything else. And that's ultimately, I think, why some people here that are listening, you could have those things as a motivator, because I was scared to make a lot of money. I thought I would have blown myself up like I did in the past. And then when I finally had that release valve, boy, what freedom. And then it's about following up on that, which also keeps me busy. But that is like super important for me. Otherwise, maybe I will get crushed just from a godly lesson about, whatever. But in any event, I say this to you guys because I want you to participate, and I want you to participate big. If you don't want X amount of dollars, don't invest your own money. Just put it with somebody and stop worrying about it. Go play the violin and, go run or fishing or something. Like, don't try to do it half cocked. I mean, it's hard as it is, even with all the time and the pros that have done this forever. It's so hard. And also it's so hard in crypto. It's like virtually impossible. So many people trade out of this stuff and I just say, you're never going to out trade crypto. I've been probably very lucky on a couple of occasions with these calls, but also it's very intuitive because I feel like I've done so much work in the space. So take advantage of that, guys. But if you're going to take advantage, just do what I suggest for a little while. Just do it. Go to the buy up to prices. Be mindful. Be mindful of the buy up to prices. When you hear an idea, go do it. Right now, the biggest idea is to shore up the Bitcoin, shore up the Ethereum. And I'll give you one other one because we all want some new juice. And that is Alpaca. I have been buying Alpaca Finance. You love these names, right? That thing's at 88 cents. I bought it. It's the thing is you've got to have an account. You can do it on some of the DeFi stuff or Gate.io or KuCoin or Binance. So those of you that have Binance account still, Alpaca is one that has been destroyed. It is growing. It is a DeFi name. And I'll give you one NFT name again, which is WAXP Protocol, WAXP. I've talked about it before. It's a top pick of mine. It's down from when I first talked about it. I've loaded up more and more and more as the correction was active, and I hope some of you did too. It's probably one of, if not my favorite, NFT beneficiaries. Okay, so DeFi, NFT, all this stuff and more is coming. I went to a conference in New York 2 weeks ago. It just exploded my knowledge base and relationships, and I thought it would, which is why I went through the effort to go to a conference like this. It was big money, smart money, big stuff. The guys who, inventors of Polkadot and some of the ones that started Ethereum and you're not going to get a more wise, smart, experienced and just, big money that invests and, that are creating a lot of value, trillions in value in these markets. And I'm so excited about crypto. There's so many things coming, folks. Just as a reminder of what I think, this movement, everything we know about the world as it pertains to money and finances, and I think political systems and everything else too, but definitely as it pertains to finance, this Web 3.0, the move that we're taking into this world that's coming up out of the surface, anything and everything we've known our whole life will be destroyed. Destroyed. It's already happening behind the scenes in certain ways. Is it going to all happen at once? Like you're going to be, oh God, no, it happens over time, but this is an unstoppable train. And you got to just look at why would anybody use fee-based stuff when you can just do it without the fees? And all these things some of them are amazing. I'm going to let it go there before 30 minutes. I hope you guys have a good Sunday night, and we'll be in touch for the Q&A.